My name is Jimmy Stadler, and I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I was born there at a very young age. I came to Taos in 1986 with my wife and our son, Jaron. He was 6 months old. And we had been invited to come here for many years when we lived in Los Angeles, and I thought there was no way because I was going to make it big in LA. Long story short, we were in Columbus, Ohio when our son was born, and our friends Mark and Debbie Yarvitz came through Columbus and said, "You really should get back to the mountains and we'll give you the cabin for the winter." And we're like, all right. And musically, I was just playing solo gigs at even a tuxedo gig at a hotel downtown Columbus and the airport Sheraton Inn 5 nights a week also. That was exciting. So I had to stop doing that. It was musical suicide. So we moved to Taos in fall of '86, and immediately I got a job at the St. Bernard and the Ramada Inn. And my first New Year's Eve was at the Ramada Inn here in Taos by myself, but I was happy. We were living in a cabin and we didn't own anything really. We had a beat up old Datsun pickup truck, and I had a big old Yamaha CP70 piano and this guitar right here. We skied a whole bunch that winter. And musically, it was a great change for me. I just couldn't believe people were advocating for more original stuff and like write more stuff, right? This is an more creative town. And I really love that. And that led to a lot of writing and some show openers, and Taos was a great move. We called ourselves a band. I was in 3rd grade. We were called the Silver Knights. And I still have this plastic guitar that I used. It was really a cool guitar. I still have it hanging on my wall in the studio. But there was an 8th grade band at our school, and the one guy, John Ferguson, I'll never forget, had a Fender Stratocaster that he used to let me play and let me hang out because I actually was playing Gloria and Happy Together and all these songs from whatever year that was. I played the Strat. He let me play for these couple little shows. My friend Joe had a set of drums, and Pat Zook had maracas, and my other friend just sang. And we had like a repertoire of 3 songs, Gloria and a couple originals. So that would be my first band. And then my family would have been the next band after that. We had the Stadler Family Singers, and we'd sing all over Ohio and some talent shows, and it was just a very big musical family. What instruments do I play? Well, get me in the studio, and I'll try about anything because you have a chance to, make a few mistakes and correct them. But guitar, piano, 5-string banjo, tenor banjo, mandolin, harmonicas, bass, drums, violin, ukulele, really no brass instruments. I like to be multifaceted. What inspired? Well, I'll tell you what, inspiration is still what keeps me going. What inspired me to really start playing was my parents. My dad played the accordion and my mother played the piano. They both played piano. And I just thought it was fascinating to hear this big sound coming from an upright piano. And, we'd sit there and we couldn't reach the pedals, but we'd kick the board on the piano. And I remember, just fascinated with piano. And on the way here today, I heard this old-time radio station playing this song called "I'm Sorry I Made You Cry." We had it on a Slate record, an old Victrola record player. And I'd play that song over and over again. It was, "I'm sorry, dear." And it's a Slate record. And I'd put my head in there. I'm like, wow. And that was inspiring. And then the Beatles totally inspired me. And even something like the Herman Hermits. That was inspiration. My first performance, I really remember this, would have been 2nd grade. We had this huge upright piano at our school. And it was, I think, a talent show or something. I don't know. The teacher was trying to kill time with a bunch of second graders. And we went down to the cafeteria where the big piano was. And they said, well, let's move it over to this side of the room. So we moved, this bunch of us pushed this thing over, and we played Louie Louie. That was it. Da 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 da. And my friend sang it. You know, I didn't know the words. I don't think anybody knew the words back then. And then we had to move the piano back to the other side of the cafeteria, and we started moving really fast with it. And we were like, boom, and the thing falls over. And all this dust. It was the loudest sound in the world. And here comes the principal's sister, Dorothy. And we're all just... And that was my first performance. I get a lot of phone calls to be a teacher, just in one-on-one. And I try to give adults at least one good lesson to say, here's what you need to do. I know you don't have much time. I don't have much time. You know, even though some of them want weekly lessons, but I can't commit to that. I don't teach individually during the school year, because those are 2 days a week that's taken up a lot of my teaching energy. So I try not to do much more teaching from September through May. Unless, you know, these people are passing through and say, well, we're only here for a month. Can I get one piano lesson out of you? One guitar lesson, one mandolin lesson, whatever. So I do try to do that, but it's more rewarding with younger people, I'm sorry. I was asked to teach at Taos Academy for a few years, and I said no, because I thought, I'm just not a school guy. I was not a very good student. And anyway, I gave a few demonstrations at the school, and it kind of went well, and I enjoyed it. And I realized Taos Academy was a different school than the Catholic schools that I grew up in, even though they were really very supportive of my music all through grade school and high school. But I started at Taos Academy really trying to do an adult approach to children, thinking these students will just snap to whatever I say and do. Well, I had to learn differently. And after this is my 5th year there, and it's gone a lot better. The program has grown. We've gained a lot of new instruments, great amount of talent, and I really enjoy it. It's very challenging, but I learn from the students at the same time. They don't realize it, but I'm still learning too. And that's, you know, what keeps me going in music. It's infinite. So it's a good give and take process, and the end result, finishing a song, performing it, that's a great reward. The music scene in Taos, it's changing all the time. I've been a part of it for 29 years now almost, and I always thought that in order for me to keep it a good scene or be a part of it, I always have to up my game. And if people say, oh, the scene is kind of weird here in Taos, and I feel like I'm part to blame if there's not a scene somewhere. All the venues, Old Martinez and the Sagebrush, you got the Coyote Club, you've got the Taos Sin, the Alley, Taos Mesa Brewing, KTAO, Sabroso. Anyway, there's a really creative scene here, a lot of great musicians. I've seen them come and go. I just happen to like living here, and I'm doing everything I can to stay here and contribute to the music scene. That I just figure if I'm doing my part, that's all I can do. To keep it fresh, keep my chops up, and do what I can for the music scene. Because there are going to be a lot of people that come and go, and all I can do is try to be the constant. Being my age, the advice I would give to any aspiring musician, any age, is do your homework, get that out of the way. That'll give you the freedom to play your instrument and sing, and, you know, get that release. Because you've got to do some, you know, build your calluses and your muscles, and and everything. Just no matter what age you are, you have to do it. There's a lot of talent, but you do have to work it. You have to do your homework, and you got to keep it up. Keep it fresh, and it'll always pay off. Because the one step leads to another, leads to another. You can write a lame song, but that lame song is going to get you to write a better song and a better song. And just keep at it. Take any frustration energy and put it right back in. That's my advice. And have fun, always. Always. Even in the work. I hope you find your fortune. I hope you will begin just to love what life brings to you and take each moment in. Be kind to yourself and everyone else. Said I hope you find your fortune. I hope you will begin just to love what life brings to you and take each moment in. Be kind to yourself and everyone else. Sound like Spinal Tap.